here we are. Because I am the chosen one. That just came to me when I said, here we are. Do you guys remember that bullshit? I am the chosen one. He actually believes that. Hi, it's Lemon Live at 5. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing today? Where are you? What are you doing on this lovely Thursday evening? Happy Thursday, Chibakis. Did anyone get a chance to vote on the Webby? There we go. Tammy's trailing. You got to vote on the Webby. Is it at the top of the chat, guys? So you guys have to vote on it. I mean, look, we survive on memberships. We usually have that at the top of the chat. Maybe we should just put our membership link at the top of the chat and then did you vote? Well, actually, just put the vote thing up there, okay? Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Hold on to your pocketbooks. Come on, guys. Let's not pretend we don't know what's going on. We know more what's going on than they do. We know better than you know how he says we know better than the generals? We know better than the president what's going on. Some BS is what's going on. That's what's going on. The stock market cratered again today, people. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost a whopping 530 points. Now, let me know. Where's your retirement? Where is it? Where does your money reside right now? Where does the money reside? The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost a whopping 530 points, or 1.33%, to settle at 39,142. This is now the third day in a row that both the Dow and the NASDAQ posted major losses. What is causing this? In normal times, the stock market can be fickle, right? But we know exactly what caused the instability today. And it is something that is outrageous that everyone is dealing with, and everyone is trying to figure out, like, what do we do about this? I don't know what we do about it. Well, I know some things that can be done about it, but I don't know if the American people are up to that. I don't know if the American people are up to, like, what it would take in order to correct this, right? Is it that we must do? I think people have grown too comfortable. They're not willing to get into good trouble. So what do we have to do? What's causing this? Well, in normal times, the stock market can be a fickle beast, but we know exactly what caused this today, this instability, and that is instability. That's what caused it. President Trump stepped up his attacks on Jerome Powell. You know, Jerome Powell is the Federal Reserve Chair, and he gets to decide, like, if interest rates are up or down or whatever is going on with interest rates. Jerome Powell gets to decide that. And Donald Trump is now attacking him, saying the Federal Reserve Chair's, quote, termination cannot come fast enough. By the way, he doesn't really have the authority to do it. Trump revenge roller coaster. Thank you for that. That's what we're on. In an early morning social media post, and then again at an Oval Office briefing, the president argued that Powell has been too slow to cut interest rates and needed to go. To be clear, now as I'm reading this, I see the con. Do you guys see the con? Do you see the distraction? To be clear, Trump has no legal authority to end Powell's term prematurely. It's totally unconstitutional. Or as we say, it's anti-constitutional. And we're going to discuss that momentarily. Powell said yesterday that there was a, quote, strong likelihood that the economy would take a big hit from the administration's tariffs. That pissed Trump off royally. And we know now, per the Wall Street Journal, that Trump has spoken with Keith Warsh, a former Fed governor, and potentially firing Powell before his term ends and possibly selecting Warsh to be his replacement. Newsflash, Trump firing Powell. It wouldn't only worsen your problems. Powell is the only guy that Wall Street trusts. It would just blow up the economy and the markets. It would just gut everything, okay? And it is what he's doing is anti-constitutional. It's not unconstitutional. It's anti-constitutional. He does not believe in the Constitution. Now I'm going to get to all of this stuff, how he's threatening Jerome Powell. And so when I said I saw the con, is because I think he knows that he doesn't have the authority, so he's trying to, bluster and whatever and scare, and this man is not going to be scared, okay? But it's a distraction from all the things. So instead of talking about how bad the market is, what we're talking about is, oh my God, he's going to fire Powell. Instead of talking about his FCC chairman saying that, threatening to sue or pull news organizations' licenses and just really throw us into an autocracy. We're talking about him firing someone that he doesn't have the authority to fire. That's why I say don't fall for the okie doke. Now, this is a big deal if he does that, if he tries, but you can't do it under the law. So it can't happen. As long as Jerome Powell holds firm, as we say around the way in the vernacular, he good. He is good. Now, I just want to explain to you, okay? And look, it's going to take a little bit. You guys, can you go with me here? Will you guys promise to go with me here and stay with me on this? Because I think it's really important. It's a little bit long. It's not sexy, right? It's not hyperbolic. So no one's jumping up and down. But it's important for you to know as we move along here through the lesson plan. I come from a family of teachers. As we move along for the lesson plan. Okay, kids, open your textbooks to page 101. This is a 101 in civics. And this is from Mr. Jamel Bowie over at the New York Times on what he calls Trump's anti-constitutionalism. Here it is.
I think what Trump is doing right now
is unconstitutional.
Unconstitutional. But Trump's actions aren't just unconstitutional, they're anti-constitutional as well. If I say something is unconstitutional, it is an exercise of a power that you just don't have under the Constitution. If I say something is anti-constitutional, it breaks the logic of what a constitution is supposed to be doing. Just looking at the first 100 days of this administration, you get a pretty good example of what this looks like in practice.
We're learning more about the 238 Venezuelan men that the Trump administration recently deported to El Salvador. The Trump administration claims all of them are connected to Venezuelan gangs, but has not provided evidence.
The idea of a government that can whisk anyone away without due process, without a chance to prove your innocence, that is a fundamental violation of the notion of a limited government. That is anti-constitutional. Another good example is just the entire construct of the Department of Government Efficiency.
We do need to delete entire agencies. If you don't remove the roots of the weed, then it's easy for the weed to grow back.
Canceling contracts, canceling programs, firing employees. But these programs, these employees, they are the product of congressional laws. And the only force under the U.S. Constitution that can undo a congressional law is Congress. And a president exercising anti-constitutional authority, it's jeopardizing our fundamental task as citizens to preserve the Constitution for Americans that come after us. One of the things I very much believe in is just the primacy of human agency. My grandparents and great-grandparents, lived through Jim Crow. But they didn't relinquish their agency. They tried as much as they could to exercise it within those constraints. The Black Americans who end up toppling Jim Crow do so on the foundation of their agency, of their recognition that just because there is this tyrannical regime does not mean that they've lost all ability to act. And so when it comes to our present situation, I think the best way for citizens to respond to this behavior is to show how they feel on the streets. We don't want to live in a kind of country where the president has this kind of unaccountable power, where random billionaires can dismantle public programs. That, I think, is part of what will help push back on this, and part of what will build the political will to begin to reverse it.
So there you go. All right, so let's move on with our studies today, okay? I wish I had a chalkboard. You know what? So we're going to talk about, I just thought about this. Okay, what we're going to talk about today is anti-constitutionalism. Okay, and this is to put it, let's see, to put it in its correct terminology, we're going to discuss kids. Do you see what that is? What does that say? Anyone? Bueller? That's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, so no. This is how I like to say. We're going to talk about this. Okay. Like the little kid says that I love. We're going to talk about some bullshit. Okay? Okay, you got it, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. So on the board, pay attention or I'm going to make you guys write lines. I'm going to make you do, I want 1,000. Anybody write lines? I don't even know if kids write lines anymore. These kids probably don't even know what lines anymore. I will not disobey my teacher in school. We had to write lines. Okay? So we're going to talk about some bullshit. This is what Donald Trump is threatening to do. On social media, this is what he said about Jerome Powell. He said, this is what he's doing. This is your president of the United States. The ECB is expected to cut interest rates for the 7th time, and yet too late, he's got a name for Jerome Powell, of the Fed, who is also too late and wrong. Yesterday issued blah, 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 blah. Oil prices are down. And then he goes on to do saying, so that's when he's vomiting his either from his fingertips or through his mouth. He's always like, yeah, you're the word. He's just gross. Like every time I hear from him, he's gross. And he's just, listen, it's like someone regurgitating words. You guys know what regurgitating is. Do I need to write that down? Do I need to spell it? Okay, I won't write that on the board. He does. He vomits words. Yeah, you're the worst enemy of the people. The worst. He's always just like vomiting words. It's just gross. And he's gross on so many levels. So here he is talking about firing Jerome Powell. Here's one.
Can you clarify on rate cuts? Do you intend to seek Powell's firing if he doesn't change his stance on rate cuts? Or is that not on the table? Or is that
well, I think he should do the rate cuts because I think if Europe has done it, it puts us at a disadvantage to Europe. I mean, he plays right into their hands. So I think he should do the rate cuts. We don't have really inflation now. I just said the major things are going down. Oil is great. Oil is way ahead of schedule, and that's because of our policies. But oil is down into the $60, $65 range now per barrel. And I told you, in certain states we have less than $2 for gasoline. And food is down. Groceries, as we call it, are down. Other than interest rates, everything's down.
Okay. A lot, you know why a lot of those things are down. You guys are going to hate to hear this. Some of you, is because of Joe Biden, not because of what Trump is doing. What Trump is doing is tanking the stock market. What Trump is doing is causing instability. The things that are stable, the things that were planned to get the economy back on track. Why do you think those things are down? Let's just be real. Yeah, just lying. LOL. He's just lying. Okay, here he is again, regurgitating words.
Jerome Powell, you said that the termination of Jerome Powell cannot come fast enough. He says he won't leave even if you ask him to.
Oh, he'll leave. If I ask him to, he'll be out of there. But I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
So
yeah, go ahead, please. Question.
Are you trying to remove him, Mr. President?
Yeah, question.
Mr. President, yesterday Judge Boasberg.
It's just like the energy is just gross around him. Do you guys know what I mean? It's just like, if I want him out, he's going to be out of there real quick. I'm sorry to have to do that, but that's what it sounds like when I hear him. Believe me, Mayor's gonna be out of there. Ugh, gross. And to that, now this is Jerome Powell. This is back before the election because Donald Trump has been threatening to fire Jerome Powell forever. And Jerome Powell, I love it, a man of very few words. Jerome Powell is E.F. Hutton. When Jerome Powell talks, everybody listens. He is the Fed chair. This is what he said before the election.
Hi, Victoria Guido with Politico. Some of the president-elect's advisors have suggested that you should resign. If he asked you to leave, would you go?
No.
Can you follow up on, do you think that legally you're not required to leave?
No. I guess the other question is to follow up on Victoria's question. Do you believe the president has the power to fire or demote you, and has the Fed determined the legality of a president demoting at will any of the other governors with leadership positions?
Not permitted under the law.
Not what?
Not permitted under the law.
Thank you.
Courtney.
I love this guy. Where are you going? No. Are you going to resign? No. Does he have the power to do it? No. Is it constitutionally not permitted under the law? What? Not permitted under the law. Great answer, right, Maria Francesca Di Meglio? Efficient, right? He doesn't. This guy's like China. We don't give a you know what. We don't give a you know what. Now, listen, as I said to you, it would tank the markets. Not only would it tank the markets, it would just throw our economy we would go off of a cliff if he did that, because then no one would want to do business with us because of the instability. Because everyone looks to America as the stable, the adult in the room, usually, and not until now, because, you got the kindergarten, not even kindergarten, it's preschool. Oh, because it wasn't called preschool. When I was a kid, it was called nursery school, right? So we got the nursery school kids in there and now, the Island of Misfit Toys cabinet in there now. We need someone like Elizabeth Warren who can explain why firing Powell would be the worst thing anyone could do. Here it is.
Powell, just as a reminder, so Congress gives the Fed the authority. Can the president terminate, not that he said he's going to do this, but can he terminate Powell's chairmanship earlier than his ending term?
No.
Under no circumstance?
Nope.
So that's not a concern for you?
Well, I thought we were talking about legally, right? But this is a president who has shown himself willing to violate laws every place he goes, including willing to violate the Constitution of the United States. So that obviously puts things a little more in play than we ever would have guessed. But I really want to make a pitch here for a second about the importance of Powell staying in his job. Look,
and it's unusual coming from you. You're very critical of him.
I have tangled with him on a regular basis about both regulations and interest rates. But understand this. If Chairman Powell can be fired by the President of the United States, it will crash the markets in the United States. The infrastructure that keeps this stock market strong, and therefore a big part of our economy strong, and therefore a big part of the world economy strong, is the idea that the big pieces move independent of the politics, that somebody is making his, their, her best decisions economically and independently. We understand that if the New York Stock Exchange, if interest rates in the United States are subject to a president who just wants to wave his magic wand, this doesn't distinguish us then from any other two-bit dictatorship around the world where everyone knows what your big investment risk is. Will that dictator wake up in the morning and have a tummy ache and decide to cause this problem or favor that friend? That's why we need to strengthen the infrastructure.
But I know you are not.
Yeah, well, see, that's how adults talk. And if she said a tummy ache, I would say just a tantrum, as he often does. But I don't think he cares. I think there's so much anger and he wants, there's so much vengeful. He's so vengeful that he would just do it just because. And he wouldn't suffer because he's allegedly a billionaire. He would not suffer. But you would, but then he'd just be just to show his power. I'm going to take the he wouldn't care. And then he would try to make it seem like it's great. It's good for you. Right? Even though legally he can't do it. But even as he would make that, and then the MAGA people with the MAGA brain would be, even though they would be, eating ramen noodles every night like we used to in college in order because things are so expensive, they wouldn't care because they would still say, isn't this great? Isn't this great? Look at what he's doing. He's so great. He's owning the libs. Crazy. We all need some, wow. Anyways, and I'm going to tell you what it is doing to his approval rating. Okay. So make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the thumbs up because it keeps us afloat. It keeps us streaming in these digital streets. And we don't have a corporate overlords looking out over us, and we can do what we want without fear or favor, which is something that I've been writing about. I wrote something today. It's on my Substack, and I wrote about it. I've been writing about it, so you got to check it out. But anyways, so let me take care of some business so we can stay on, okay, guys? So we are happy that we have sponsors now. Look, you guys are your channel is so big. Yeah, peanut butter. Look at my thing. Your channel is so big now that you have sponsors, okay? So the Don Lemon Show is sponsored by BetterHelp, which is betterhelp.com. And you guys know, I don't have to keep repeating this. You guys know, if you watch me, if you are part of the 670 or so thousand subscribers to the Don Lemon channel, if you're one of those folks, I love to talk about mental health, leveling the playing field, meaning that we can discuss it and there shouldn't be a stigma on it because I have benefited from therapy. So let's talk about the numbers. I'm talking about therapy, right? Traditional in-person therapy can cost anywhere from $100 to $250 per session. With that adds up, right? With BetterHelp.com, which is an online online therapy, you can save up to 50% per person. With BetterHelp, you pay a flat fee for weekly sessions, saving you big on cost and on time. Therapy should be accessible, It should not be a luxury. And with online therapy, you get quality care at a price that makes sense and can help you with anything from anxiety to everyday stress. Your mental health is worth it, and now it is within reach. BetterHelp.com has more than 30,000 therapists. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. It is convenient. You can join a session with a click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, you can switch therapists at any point. So here it is. I want you to do. Your well-being is worth it. Visit betterhelp.com/DonLemon to get 10% off of your first month. That is betterhelp, HELP.com/DonLemon. So go check it out. Also, we are sponsored today. The show is brought to you today by the Freedom of Religion Foundation. Okay? So if you ever notice how more and more people are stepping away from organized religion, it's like we all have collectively realized that, wait, I don't actually have to go to a synagogue on Friday. I don't have to go to church on Sunday. And you're stepping away from it because you don't like that people are trying to push their beliefs on you. They're trying to turn us into a theocracy. But hey, let me just tell you, here's the thing. Not everybody's cool with this shift. Christian nationalism is on the rise. And we are working overtime. They are working overtime, to what? To try to shove their beliefs into our laws, our schools, and even our personal lives. It's like, hey, I respect your right to believe in what you want. Just don't make me live it. That's where the Freedom from Religion Foundation comes in. They fight to keep church and state separate, like our founders actually intended. So whether you have always been secular or you have left religion behind, here's what you want to do to keep religion out of our government. Go to FFRF. That's where they come in. FFRF.us/freedom, or text my first name, Don, to 511-511 and become a member today. Text Don to 511-511, or you can go to FFRF.us/freedom, because the only thing worse than someone forcing religion on you is when they try to do it by law. So for membership information, text Don to 511-511 a day. Text fees may apply. So thank you, guys. Thank you for being our sponsors. Barkley, chill out. That's my dog. He's a naughty one. Do you guys remember Dennis the Menace? He is the dog version of Dennis the Menace. He's always in something. He's the one that ate my yogurt yesterday. morning. I think it was yesterday morning or the day before, as I was doing my live stream. That is Barkley. He is Dennis the Menace. If we left food out, he would eat himself into a coma. Whenever I give him a treat, it almost takes my fingers off. Sounds like your dog, right? There's Boomer. Boomer's the GOAT. So good. There's my baby right there. Hi, Boomer. Hi, Boomy. Hi, my baby. Hi. I love Barkley too. He's just Dennis the Menace. Okay, so let's get back to it. Donald Trump's net approval on handling of the economy. Check it out. Remember, Donald Trump is great for the economy. Republicans are so great. You know, Democrats are always better with the economy, right? That's what the numbers show. That's what the stats show. The numbers don't lie. And that's what it shows. Okay, so Donald Trump is tanking his approval rating. United States net approval percentage. Look at this. Look at him compared to Obama. Look at him compared to Biden. Whew. Look at that. Look at that red line at the bottom. It looks like what is that? Is that a black diamond slope or is it double black diamonds? It's not even, this is just straight down with no hills on the ski thing. Straight down. Here is a new YouGov poll on Trump's handling of the economy. 42% approve of Donald Trump's job as president. Damn. 52% disapprove, with a net approval of -10, down from last week. Trump's current net approval among Republicans has dropped significantly. Just tanking, Tawana. You're right. Just tanking. Now, I think it's tanking because of issues like this. We've been talking about Kilmar Abrego Garcia and with no due process. And now how they're even going further to they're just trying to sully this man's name. They're trying to, not physically, but just literally, like, just kill him, like, just to get him. I don't mean like physically kill him, but you know what I mean. They're just trying to torpedo him to get him out of the way. They don't want people hearing his story. And by the way, there are people actually wondering if he is still alive. They're wondering, why are they fighting so hard to have him not return to the country, to America? And because he was someone here who was sent back, who migrated to this country, is an immigrant, whether he's documented or not documented, visa, whatever. But now U.S. citizens are being detained. There's an example of one, at least, detained in Florida despite having a birth certificate. Watch.
I'm here in the Leon County Courthouse, where we just got done with the first appearance of Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez, who was detained Wednesday in Florida, and he had charges of entering the state as an unauthorized immigrant. However, he is an American citizen. His mother came to the courthouse, showed his birth certificate and his social security number card, and that still wasn't enough to get him released. The judge just said that she was sorry, and the attorney working for the state said that because he had an ICE hold, he couldn't be released, even if the court didn't find probable cause for his arrest.
Okay, so there you go. That's a citizen. And now when I tell you that they are sullying this man's name, they're just want to ruin his reputation. They are going back, and now they've allowed the DOJ to release an arrest record from back in, I forget exactly the year, maybe 2019. I forget what it is. And so arrest record, apparently there was some issue. They had some domestic issues. There was a police report to be filed. I think it was written up, and then the wife decided not to file it, saying that he had scratched her, he had pushed her, whatever. Terrible. That should never happen. Yeah. Yes, Candace Camden, the person we're talking about, he is a U.S. citizen. Yes. Okay. What kind of shit is this? I don't know. But listen, back to Garcia. So look, that should not happen. I'm not minimizing that. I'm not condoning it at all. But the hypocrisy here, as it relates to, because a very similar situation happened with your boy, Pete Hegseth, who was accused of of assault. And then the police, I guess, decided not to for some reason. I don't know exactly what happened, but a similar situation. So your standards are different for this person who is not in government It's higher for him, but lower for, so because he has some issues with his wife, which should not happen, that he should be deported from the country without due process and no evidence of him being with a gang or any of that you have shown. Now, if you show it, okay, I will. I'm an intelligent person. I will change my mind. But so far, nothing. So how about Pete Hegseth? How about all the allegations and what folks said about him at his former workplace and all the women and the baby's mamas and all of that? I mean, what about him? Is he gonna be one of those guys you're gonna deport? I'm sure he's worn a baseball cap too. So I don't know. Maybe, who knows? I'm just saying. That's where we are right now. I'll just say to you that, I'm a big boy, and usually these things don't scare me. I don't get really nervous about them, but I'm really nervous about where we are right now. And I'm nervous about this anti-constitutional aspect of the Trump administration that we are dealing with. Something has to be done about it. Okay? Something needs to be done about it. And I don't know, unless you guys fight back, unless you're willing to sacrifice something, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. But I do believe that we are already in an autocracy. In fact, we showed the definition this morning. I can show it to you real quick now. And if you have it, put it up. But this is what is happening, especially when you have the media, them threatening to sue the media, when you have them ignoring the judiciary, ignoring the legislative branch. Autocracy is a form of government where a single person holds all of the power. That person, called an autocrat, can do anything they want legally or politically. They make all the decisions, and there is no separation of powers. They may use propaganda, censorship, and or violence to control people. That's where we are right now. When you have people being sent out of the country, citizens or not citizens, who are reportedly citizens and reportedly non-citizens, perhaps, who have not received due process. That is un-American. That's not only un-American, it's anti-constitutional. So tonight on the Don Lemon Show, that's it. Because I have a special treat for our members. We have members who get special privileges. And so this is where we'll end the broadcast for everybody, or the stream for everyone. And now we're going into a members only live stream that is a private stream where we're really going to talk about people. We're going to really get in trouble. We got to watch our mouths over there because I can get us in trouble. Okay. So thank you. Yeah, Don, that man may be on a lot. I know Marcus. So listen, I appreciate, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all of our new members. Thank you for the people who gifted members. I can see all of your comments coming up. Okay. Make sure you like and subscribe. I know some of you are sad, but if you want to be on a live stream, you got to go and you got to become a member. And you have to have a certain tier of membership in order to do this. Okay. So I'm going to go over, I'm going to talk to my legends today. All right, everyone. So as I always say, when we get out of here, not us. You should turn the YouTube on. You should turn the stream on, but turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.